Mountain Apostolic Resource Center. To find additional episodes of this program, as well as other content, visit eaglemountain.tv.
You know why? Fake news.
No.
I want that one over here.
You want the fake news?
Just in case we need it for something. I found the devil.
The devil?
I found him.
Really? Is this him?
No.
In this wheelchair?
No. He's over here in this bucket. I kid you not. There he is. Mr. Sin!
Oh my
Not
goodness.
bothering us anymore.
And I remember her saying, okay, you're going to play Mr. Sin today. And she hands me this purple puppet with a nasty mustache. Pop the little puppet up, and literally on cue, 80 kids out there all, boo, no, yuck, I hate that guy. I was like, man, these guys are trained on cue. Like, I don't know if they got candy for doing that or what. But
oh, man, they just want to come down on
deep
someone.
theological teaching. Deep theological teaching.
Well.
Hey everyone, welcome to Together We Build. My name is Chris Behnke.
And I'm Prudence O'Hare.
I like the way you jumped in there like that, Prudence.
Well, I'm just saving you some time.
Thank you for saving me some time. I'm not going to ask you how you're doing. I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite button on that sound
I haven't
machine?
been through all of them. Well, recently anyway.
What have you got
I
there?
do like this one. The whole spring thing.
It reminds me of Looney Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we should just get into this. This is part 3 of a 3-part series on the topic of fear. Honestly, truthfully, we could probably do 40 episodes on fear because I think it's one of Satan's primary tools against us, but we don't want to dwell on it. We want to basically send this message: we're not supposed to fear. We're supposed to fear God alone, not man. And so that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
It's going on and on.
I think...
You think what?
Oh, I don't think what we're talking about is fake news.
What we're talking about is not fake news, but Satan telling us that we should be afraid of things is fake news. And so if you haven't seen those other episodes, definitely go back and check them out. They're super good. We did one on AI. We did one where we had Bobby on as a guest. They're really powerful. Today we're going to go a little bit different direction. But before we do any of that, you know what we got to do, right?
Well, when are you going to get back to the B or not the B?
We could get back to the B or not B.
Because that was...
We could get back to the B or not B, but we're not doing that right now because we don't have that. What we have here is trivia.
All right. Let it rip.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. What product? Okay, so if you guys don't know, if you're watching this the first time, they're like, what is happening? It's all over the place. They got sound machines. Okay, before we start every episode, we do some trivia. And Prudence is on a streak where she's trying desperately not to ever get one wrong. So we're going to go in, we're going to do some trivia. This is on strange food facts. Okay, so you guys ready for this? You guys ready for this? Are you ready for this, Prudence?
Yep.
You are. Okay, here we go. Don't look. What product did Heinz, you know the ketchup guys?
Yeah.
Did Heinz unsuccessfully try to sell on pizza?
What product?
Yeah, what product did they try to sell as a pizza topping and it didn't work? They tried, no worky. Don't overthink it unless you know. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Come on, Prudence. What is
I
your
don't know
best
the
guess?
answer to this. Lollipops?
Lollipops is not correct, but the Heinz baked beans is. So they tried to put baked beans as a pizza topping. I can see why that didn't work. That sounds not good.
Yeah, that's different. Not as bad as like lima beans. Though. Lima beans
okay.
are worse. Hate lima beans. They're disgusting.
This is going to be, I hope this is very obvious. I hope you can get this, Prudence. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. In hunting culture, which beating organ is often eaten straight after the kill?
Oh, so gross. Why do we
Straight.
have to talk about this?
Listen, I have to say it like this. Straight after the kill.
Beating organ? There's
Yeah.
only one.
That's why I
The
said
heart?
you better get this. The heart, correct.
Oh, that sounds
Nice
really
job.
disgusting.
Nice job. Okay, here we go. This is a really tough one. Where does Hawaiian pizza originate? Come on.
Hawaiian?
Dun,
Hawaii?
dun, dun, dun. Is that your final answer, Prudence? Hawaiian pizza toppings originated in...
Hawaii?
Incorrect. Obviously, it's Canada. Hawaiian
Oh.
pizza originated in Canada. Oh my goodness. Okay. Don't look.
I'm not looking. I'm not.
There's no cheating in this game.
Obviously, I'm not getting them right, so you know I'm not looking.
Yeah, you're definitely not doing well. If you're cheating, you're a bad cheater.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Popular in Eastern Europe, which fish is brought live home and kept in the bathtub until Christmas Eve where it's prepared?
Okay, one more time, please.
Oh my goodness.
The news is fake.
Okay, this actually isn't fake news. This is a
Will
real...
you quit touching this button?
Okay. Here we go.
You need a fidget toy.
Popular in Eastern Europe. Okay. This is like something they do in Eastern Europe. You guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
What fish is brought home live, kept in the bathtub until Christmas Eve when it's prepared for the Christmas Eve meal?
I don't know. Catfish?
Good guess, but it's carp.
Oh. Well, I'm not like a fish expert tasting, but aren't those kind of gross?
I don't know. The real thing here, let's be completely honest. The real thing has nothing to do with what fish it is. It's the fact that live fish are brought home and kept in the bathtub until Christmas Eve. That's the thing here that we're shocked
well, we're
about.
not going to explore why that is.
Okay, we're going to the last question. Here's the last question. What was the first meal eaten on the moon? What was in that meal? What meat was in that meal? What meat was in the meal first eaten on the moon?
Turkey?
Turkey. Is that your final
Yeah.
guess? Prudence.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is, of course, bacon.
Oh.
Bacon. Not turkey.
Bacon.
Not turkey bacon either. Real, authentic, honest to goodness bacon. Okay, we're going to do one more. Oh, this is good. Check this out. Last question. What part of a beaver, beaver, was allowed to be eaten during Lent as it was believed to be a fish?
Its tail?
Its tail.
I mean, that's the only part of a beaver I could assume that would be taking the shape of a fish in any way, shape,
So
or form.
were they thinking that the beaver tail was a fish, but the beaver wasn't? It's
I
like
don't know.
a fish biting a beaver?
Beats me.
Or are they saying that they thought the beaver was a fish?
In fact, these facts are taking up a lot of real estate in my mind right now that are useless. So let's move on.
Okay, last question. This is
You keep saying
I know, but
last
this
question.
one is super good, and you're going to find this really hard to believe. This is a good one, folks.
Okay.
Which vegetable was cultivated to be orange in honor of Duke the Orange? In other words, it was cultivated to be orange. It wasn't
The
originally orange.
Carrot.
That's correct. How did you know that? Carrot's the correct answer. How'd you know that?
Because I've seen other carrots that are different colors.
Like purple and weird stuff like
Yeah.
that. Do you think carrots actually help your eyesight? I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a single second.
Well, I don't know.
You don't know? You're not sure? If you put carrots in your eye, I feel like if you
Carrot
put the
juice.
carrot in your eye, that's actually not going to help with vision. Okay, let's move on. Are you ready to move on?
Just don't stick them in like hard. Like
You
that
put
would
'em
be
in
bad.
soft?
It would be carrot
You have
juice.
carrot sticking out of your eye like this. Carrot compact, like a compress.
Got
Like
some
you
carrot slivers in my
put the
eye. It's
carrot
supposed to help.
mud on the eyes like this.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Okay, so okay, so let's move on. So we're gonna dig into this third episode on fear. Now I feel like I have some notes here that I'm pulling up right now, wherever they are. I'm not sure where they are. One of the things that I feel summarizes a lot of fears, and I think this is universally true, so much so that in our God-designed ministry, where we have the Nexus profile, we have God-designed workshops, training, and educational materials, which is all about identity. It's all about understanding how God designed you. In that, what we've found is that, generally speaking, and this is crazy that this is true, but it really is true. Most people actually believe that they're going to miss out or not complete or fall short of the reason that they are on this earth. They're on this earth. Like the reason they're here, the very reason they're here, they're going to miss it.
And I think that those people that you're talking about are the ones that are more aware of themselves and their life and their journey and their everyday things that they do. But
They're just not aware. They're just kind of
no, they are.
They are.
They are aware. And then you have a set of people and groups of people that that actually they aren't aware that thing that you're talking about is bothering them.
So they're not consciously aware.
They're not consciously aware.
Yeah.
But it is there. They just don't know what it is that's bothering them. So it
Totally.
actually offers a lot of anxiety to people
Yeah.
because we were built for purpose. And when we aren't realizing that purpose or even realizing that we were made for a purpose,
Yeah. Come on.
then it produces a lot of anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically where we're going to go today and what we're going to go after is that truth. And the truth is that most people do believe they're going to miss out either totally or at least to some degree on the life they were supposed to have, on the life they were supposed to live. And what Prudence is digging into a little bit is some people are aware of the reality that they might be missing it. And some people aren't. They're just coasting through life. But deep down inside, they're feeling anxiety that they might not even know why, but it's because they know deep down inside, subconsciously, they know God made them for something greater.
And I think that since the introduction of Darwinianism, it stripped a lot of people from purpose.
Yep.
But also on the flip side, I think we human beings actually want excuses and reasons of why we don't have to work hard in that department.
Yeah.
So we accept that as truth because it's the easy way out.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So what you're referring to, Prudence, is when Darwin released the theory of evolution and published that in 1859, that pivoted mankind in a way culturally and also kind of gave Satan a tool to use to tell people they didn't really have a greater purpose. There wasn't really a purpose for them because with evolution, everything happened on accident. So what we believe and what the Bible says is that we were created on purpose for a purpose. So that's that kind of anxiety we're talking about, that everybody wants to make sure that they end up doing what God made them for. But with the introduction of evolution, if you believe that, then there's no purpose behind anything.
Right.
And there's no thing that you were made for. So there's no reason to search out and become the person you were designed to be. There's just existing.
And that theory is pushed in our school systems as factual.
Yeah.
So now we've got a whole generations of children that actually are confused.
Yeah, and I just learned something. We just did this live cast with Ryan Collins, who's the CEO of Bethel Tech, and he mentioned something about this topic because I teach some things on this particular topic. He mentioned something I didn't know. What really catapulted evolution inside Western modern culture actually happened in the 60s during the space race. And what happened was Russia got their Sputnik program going ahead of where we were. And Eisenhower believed that we were lagging in math and science. So he pushed to standardize a science program across all public education. And when they standardized it, the board that made that up chose evolution as the origin of man. So once that happened, it removed the teacher's ability to teach what they had studied and believed on their own about science into a standardized program. And that radically accelerated since the 60s, the belief that everything is accidentally here. Isn't that crazy?
It's kind of awful.
It is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of that to say, we're in this moment in history where God has put roughly 8 billion people on the earth, and we believe that they're all here on purpose. And they're all feeling this unction inside that they're here for a purpose. But the whole culture of the world saying, no, it's all just by accident. So that's where the fear comes in. What do you think about that?
Well, yes. I think that fear also leaks in through trauma and
That's good.
traumatizing things and events that have happened to us. It creates little portals into us that allow just really unholy things to enter. And I know we talked a lot about this on this program, about how we as Christians are actually harassed a lot by the demonic, and that there is steps that we need to go through as Christians to clean up and polish up those things and events and things that have happened to us that we've had that maybe we didn't have any choice over.
Yeah.
And we need to get rid of that and close it up so we can keep the demonic out and away from us. Because if we're going to be truthful about it, it is the demonic that is talking to us, and in a lot of cases is sitting like little squatters inside of us that just create a lot of havoc. And that is it's a big hang up for a lot of us because we can't move past it. We cannot move past it because it is so real to us and so infectious inside us. So sometimes here's a quote from Dale Carnegie. That's why I said that right.
Yep, Carnegie. Dale Carnegie.
Do the thing you fear to do and keep on doing it. And that is the quickest and surest way ever yet discovered to conquer fear.
Wow.
So is this not like true though? I mean, in all of the different ways that we need to get over our fears, but it's just more like this is like a simplified statement because we can sit here and say, oh, well, it should be simple all day, but it's not.
Right.
Like actually looking at the fears that you have that you're battling and dealing with is bravery in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to understand that you've got it there.
Right.
And that takes just
boldness.
courage
Yeah.
and a big willingness to want to look at it and examine it and say, you know what? I've had this for years and years and years.
Right.
Or, you know, I'm tired of feeling this way. And then the next step is like, well, what do I do about it?
Right.
How do I get rid of it? Can I get rid of this?
Right.
I mean, yes, you can.
Right.
Yes, you can. You can get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's not something that you have to live with. So I think that one of the big elephants in the room on fear and fears, and we're not talking about the reverence fear here. We're talking about the things that we're afraid of that hold us back, hold us down, and create a lot of problems and issues in our lives and prevent us from moving forward. So that elephant is the fact that many of us don't even realize we're afraid of something that we've been basically living with it for so long.
It became normal.
That it has become ingrained into us that is just who we are. We're just.
You mean the fear itself?
Yes, the fear itself.
Wow.
Like,
yeah, that's true.
Take something that happened to a 3, 5-year-old, 10-year-old child, and now they're 60, 65, 70, and they're still dealing with the aftermath of what happened way back then.
Mm-hmm.
It has trailed them. It has become a part of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that it's normal because they've lived with it for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think it's interesting, like how easy that happens. Like we adopt it into our identity. And this can happen with lots of things. Like someone can kind of speak something over you, say, you know, you're a this or you're a that. And if you allow the enemy to use that, you'll take that in, you'll adopt it, you'll actually make it part of who you are, actually become your identity. And what you're saying, I think, Prudence, is this actually happens with fear as well. So something could happen, a traumatic thing could happen, it could cause a fear about a certain thing, or there's just a fear of something in your life. And you actually can make that fear part of your identity. Like let's say you have a call in your life to be a speaker or to speak and teach in front of an audience. And the enemy says to you, he's a talent scout, right? So ahead of the time when you're speaking in front of an audience, Satan knows this about you. So he comes in and he starts telling you, you could never speak in front of an audience. You can never speak in front of an audience. And then you take that and you begin to own it. And then someone says, I think you have a call to speak. And you're like, I could never do that. But like, surely you could.
Yeah.
But he's purposely going ahead. I think this is what I hear you saying, but tell me if it's not. He's going ahead. He's talent scouting. He's going ahead and saying, okay, God has made you for this. It's very obvious to me. I'm a student of people. I'm a student of you. This is what Satan is saying. So I'm going to come before that has been realized in your life. I'm going to work on preventing you from getting there by creating fears for you in advance.
Well, he's, I think that the devil and his army are constantly trying to derail our trains to success. They're constantly trying to take the track out.
Totally.
And they do that through just things that we end up having to go through, or they place in our path, or, things just happen sometimes. And then we get derailed and we don't know what to do with it, and we don't know how to heal from it. And we as believers in, not just believers, because actually the devil is a believer. So I think that we really need to come up with some different language here.
Yeah.
But we as professing sons and daughters of Christ, our We are new creations. That's what the scripture tells us. We are new creations. We have died to the old self.
Right.
And now we live a new life.
Right.
Well, how is that looking for most of us out there? Have we actually
I would say
transitioned
most
to
haven't.
something new?
No. Nope.
Have we gotten rid of the baggage?
No. I would say
Is
most
it
of the time
still
not.
trailing us
Most
like
of
a
the time
ball and
not.
chain? Like,
Yeah.
how in the world do we expect to actually do our calling, produce fruit, if we're weighed down
Totally.
by these anchors?
Right.
What example are we given? You know, but getting a little bit derailed here.
No,
off
I don't
of,
think
like,
that's derailed at all.
like fear,
You're
but
dead
I think that this fellow here, Jack Canfield, says everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Right.
So
Totally.
how many times do we think about the things that, well, we really wish it could be this way. I really wish, I could have this type of relationship with so-and-so, or, my kids, or such and such. I really wish that I could try doing this business, but I'm just too afraid to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish, like, it's all built. We build up these dreams, and those dreams that are inside of us are actually probably what we're supposed to be walking into.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't do it because we're scared of something.
Yeah.
And I'm just as guilty as the next person
Yeah, you
on
are.
this,
You're very guilty.
I'm
No,
I'm constantly like doing stuff that scares me all the time. All the time.
Right.
And even with the first one, with the thing you fear to do, keep on doing it, and that's how you get through it.
Yeah.
Which is actually, there's so much truth in this.
Yeah.
Because I did this largely with even just playing the piano as an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, I knew that was my instrument to play, and I hated
The performance
with
part.
a capital H, the performance part, the part
the
where we had to get out
capital H.
in a recital. No, capitals all around, actually.
All the letters are capital.
Anytime I was asked to play in front of a group of people, it was literally like, ooh.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I actually purposely, I think, kept myself ignorant on some of the instrument and understanding it. So when I was asked to play,
Yeah.
I had an excuse. And now I will freely admit this, that I
Really?
think I didn't fully think through what I was doing, but now I know.
Now you know.
I know what I was doing. And
You're saying now that you've matured, you've learned about all these things, you've kind of stepped into some of this stuff, you're looking back and you're saying, wow, look what I was doing. I was actually, I was purposely
staying ignorant on purpose so I would not have to do the thing that I was afraid of. And then
I should have known.
Several
I should have
years
known that,
later,
Prudence.
you know what? I worked through it, and I realized that I was hurting myself and probably being selfish.
Yeah.
So I learned a whole new level different layers to the instrument, and started just really teaching myself. And then I got to the point where I actually volunteered myself to the hospital lobbies, to the nursing homes on purpose.
Yeah.
Even knowing I was afraid of it.
Okay, so this is super important, you guys, super important. So what I hear you saying is you weren't like, all right, fear gone. You were still fearful of performing in public. You knew that about yourself, and you said, no, I'm not going to let that control me. Call up the hospital. Hey, I'd like to volunteer once a week or whatever to play in the hospital, to overcome the fear and use the gift that God gave you to bless others. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And how was that? Like, was that easy? Was it
no,
hard? Was it like,
it wasn't easy. It was definitely not easy.
yeah,
Especially forcing yourself. Like, I don't have like a parent that's like, nah, you're going to do this.
right.
No, I feel like probably Holy Spirit was prompting me to do it, and I was hearing that part of it
Sure.
as well. But I just felt like I needed to work through it, and for what reason, I wasn't 100% sure.
Right.
I wasn't sure, but there was this, cookie crumb trail that you have to follow sometimes when it comes to moving through your fears. And it's really that the initial, yes, I'll do it. That's like the easy part. And then the actual thing that you have to do, that's the hard part. Like the very first time that you do something that you're afraid of is the worst ever.
So as you let's talk specifically about this music, because I think it's a great example. You identified, hey, I think God's given me a gift for this. I really would rather not do this in front of anyone. I know that that's being selfish. I'm gonna say no to the fear. The fear didn't just disappear, but you went out. You took a risk, lots of risk. For you is a big risk, because Prudence, you're a very introverted type person. So this was a big, huge risk to step out there, make the phone call, do all the pieces. And then as you did that, the fear disappeared immediately, right?
No.
Okay. So tell us what,
it did not.
Let's explore that a little bit. What happened?
No. Every step of the way, you're just stepping into some discomfort. It's just uncomfortable.
Right.
And, I felt like there's this like mountainous climb that you have to do when you're working through your fears.
Right.
And it's literally like take one step up, and it's hard. It's hard work going up the mountain, really. But eventually you kind of get to the top where there's like this plateau, and you're like kind of looking back and you're like, yeah, I came from that spot. But if I had not started climbing up, I wouldn't be here now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that not a lot of times, when it comes to our fears, that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
We literally have to be brave enough to say, humble enough to say, I'm been afraid of this. I am scared of this.
Right.
You can say that.
Right.
You can admit it.
Right.
And then how do I get through it? Because God did not give us a spirit of fear.
Come on.
And timidity. He gave us a spirit of power and overcoming. We are overcomers.
Yeah.
So why?
So you can't exercise your overcoming muscle, so to speak.
No, you can't.
Without purposefully recognizing, hey, I'm being held back from something in this fear, and that's likely, I mean, it's not always the case, okay, but it's almost always, my experience, it's very often the case where that's the very thing that God has actually created you for,
right,
for such a time as this on the earth.
So this Robin Sharma person says the fears we don't face become our limits.
Oh, mama,
okay, so what if I would have stayed in a handicap's position on the piano, never challenging that fear?
Mm-hmm. What would have happened? I
wouldn't have. I'm almost to the third album that I'm releasing.
Album. By the time you're watching this, the third album is out.
Okay, I'm working with the worship team. I am developing a name as a prophetic musician. And I would like to hope that the music that I've been able to develop through the Lord, because He's given me the gift, has brought so many people into places that maybe they couldn't have gone.
Wow.
So I need a hand of applause. Where's my...
Wait, where's the applause button? Here it is.
Yes. All right. I'm just being funny, of course.
No, actually, it's a big deal because okay, I'm not pointing my fingers at anybody, okay, but just think about most people. What do most people do? How do most people function? Most people function. I mean, I hate to say this, but it's actually totally true. It's what this word here you wrote down. Most people go from day to day, week to week, working, existing. Their life is all about the job that they've got, and they just kind of float through life. And like the highlight of the year is the the 7-day vacation, the 2-week vacation, which is 2-week. Week like weak muscle. It's 2 weeks vacation, and that like they're living for Monday Night Football, so to speak. There's nothing wrong with Monday Night Football, but like if that's what your whole life is about, do you think it's true that you've then stepped into the reality, what your Bible says, which is you were made on purpose for a purpose? Jesus gave us an assignment when he left, and it was to go into all the world and make disciples of nations. You've got a part to play in that. That's not a one-man job. That's a whole world job. So we all have a part to play in that. And what we believe, what we have found, is that most people are afraid they're missing the life that they were meant to live. So the thing is, here's a tricky thing about fear, is that if you don't try, there's an illusion of you didn't fail.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
You know who Wayne Gretzky is?
Well, I've heard of him.
He's a famous hockey player. So he said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. So you in essence have already failed. You've
failed.
already failed. So
in fact, the only way to for sure fail 100%, actually the only way to really fail is to not try. Because if you try and you don't do what you set out to do, you haven't failed. You just haven't achieved yet what you're trying to achieve, but you haven't failed. You only fail when you don't do it.
Yeah. Here's another one.
It's crazy.
And I don't have a person that said this. I don't know who said this.
It was you, Prudence.
That in what you're afraid of is that which needs to be challenged. So the thing that you're afraid of is the thing that needs to be challenged.
That what you're afraid of.
I think it's written out poorly here.
Is that which needs to be challenged. Yeah. So in other words, like here, I would restate this. Let's make it ours. The thing that you're likely afraid of is also likely the thing
that you
you're
need
being
to challenge,
challenged to do.
or you need to challenge, yourself in. So, yeah, for sure. And I hate being challenged or having to. You know what the worst is? Is like
what's the worst?
The worst is knowing that you should do something, and then having to come up with your own self-discipline to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. You mean if I don't get behind you and
push you along, some of us have had parents or have parents, I don't know, that kind of guide you to do the healthy things or whatever the case is.
For sure.
But then you leave the house. Mm-hmm. And now you don't have that person that's kicking you in the derriere all the time to get the things done. And now it's up to you to dig around and come up with the self-discipline and self-control. One of those fruits of the spirits.
Yeah, the fruits.
To get the job done.
Yeah, so how does that end up what does that end up looking like? So if there's this fear, and kind of the overall fear we're talking about right now on this particular thing is the fear that we're not going to fully live the life God made us for. So let's dig into that a little bit. Where does that come from? Why is that almost universal human reality? Almost every single person that exists has that fear to some degree. Let me ask you, do you sometimes feel like, oh no, I might be missing what I'm supposed to be doing on the earth, or I might be missing the person I was supposed to be, or I'm missing the life I was supposed to live? I think if you're like, no, I'm dialed. I know for sure I am living the life I was made for. Then congratulations. You need to start helping the rest of us, because almost everyone I've ever talked to feels that way. Some to a small degree, some to I've completely missed it and I'll never get the opportunity to redeem myself.
Yeah.
A lot of people
well,
truly feel that way.
So a couple of things is that, we don't ever really arrive until we're dead. I mean, to one of the places anyway, we're either going to heaven or hell.
We don't really arrive till we're dead.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that you still have time while you're breathing
100%.
to clean it up, to get yourself together, to start walking in a way that produces the fruit. So I don't think that any of us should be discouraged that that we have missed the boat to the point where we can't do something.
Yeah. I have something to say on that.
Okay.
So if one of Satan's primary tools is to get you off your assignment, let's think of that as like a coffin. Then the secondary lie, slam that shut, put the key in, twist the key. That secondary twist the key lie is, by the way, you're too old now anyway. You've passed the opportunity. You've made too many mistakes. You can't do it now. So not only did you miss it, let me lock it with, and you can't redeem it.
Right. No redemption.
Both of those are not true.
There's no redemption in the
redemption.
world of Satan. None. So if you're feeling that way, you're feeling a lie.
Yeah.
You're believing something from the wrong camp.
Yes. And don't beat yourself up. You're in good company. Most people believe this.
Yes.
Which is why it's one of these universal fears that we need to tackle right here. He's not creative, but he's figured out how to be effective. And this is a lie that most people believe, is that I missed it and it's too late, or I've made too many mistakes, or I've done this, or I disqualified because of that. What have you got over there, Prudence? Something good. You've got something good.
Let's see. Fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise.
Ooh. So the second one is the how to defeat it. The first one is the natural response.
I think what this is saying is that it's going to be scary either way you pick.
Right.
Either way that you pick. So you're going to be fearful if you're just setting it all down and succumbing to the anxiety, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, the worthlessness that you feel all the time, the purposelessness, that all is packaged up and produces just all sorts of offshoots of fear that we are not called to live in.
Right.
And and I'm not saying that we all don't slip up and have moments and bouts of this, because we do. We're human, but we're not called to live in it and marinate in it. And day by day, this is not supposed to be our life.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then we got some work to do.
Right.
We got some work to do. So then now you have to face the fear of overcoming.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is, I feel like it's complicated.
Yeah.
Like we humans, we love our stuff, because especially if we've been in it for so long.
We love comfort. We love comfort.
Miserable comfort, right? So if we've been living in it for years and years and years, we don't know how to be someone else.
Yeah.
It's freaky to think about setting that down, because you don't know who you are going to be without those balls and chains.
Totally. I think, as we're talking about this, I'm really feeling like this. So I want to talk about Esther for a second. So everyone knows the passage, Esther 4:14. I mean, most people know this. Let me just read it. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows, but that you may have come to your royal position for such a time as this. So really briefly, in case you don't know the story, so Esther found herself in the palace as the queen, and there was a decree that all Jews were going to be executed. She was a Jew. She was in the palace as the king's queen, and was a Jew. It was a very unique situation. So Mordecai was asking her to go before the queen, which was go before the king and ask him, "Hey, don't kill everybody," which was illegal for her to go without being asked. So he's saying, hey, if you remain silent, this is Mordecai speaking, if you remain silent, then God's going to use somebody else. But who knows? Maybe you were made for right now. And that's the assignment we're talking about. But I want to go to verse 15 and 16. So verse 15, Esther says, then Esther sent this reply back to Mordecai. And here's where I want you to hear this. She says, go gather all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night and day. I and my attendants will also fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it's against the law. And here you go. This is the part I want you to hear. And if I perish, I perish. Now, the reason I feel like that's so important is she became aware of the situation, that God had designed her for this particular moment in history. This was her purpose, for a purpose, on purpose, before the foundations of the earth. And she's like, I don't want to do it. It's illegal. If I go before the king when I'm not asked, the law is I get my head cut off. Now, he could extend grace and go, it's okay, don't cut her head off. But the law was cut her head off. So she realized, hey, face the fear. Because either way, if I don't do it, I'm going to lose. It's kind of like Wayne Gretzky. Every shot you don't take, you miss every shot you don't take, right? She's kind of saying, hey, even though this is illegal, I'm going to go for it because maybe this was the reason that I exist. And I can't let the fear control me because either way is a bad situation. And I feel like sometimes we need to think of where we are in our life with that much gravity. What if we took that much gravity on the and believed that God actually had designed us for something with that much gravity, that much weight? We say, wow, I don't want to, like, well, if I was in Esther's shoes, I would have done it because after all, she had a chance to save the whole nation, but I don't really matter. That's another lie. Mm-hmm. God made every single person on purpose for a purpose. So you can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
It's an important thing to consider.
Mm-hmm. I think the other thing that we also need to think about is that we need to ask the question, well, why do we operate in fear? Mm-hmm. And it's really about self-preservation, largely. Mm-hmm. If I'm afraid of the water, it's because I'm afraid I'm going to die.
Right.
If I am afraid of speaking, it's the same thing. Right. I'm afraid I'm going to die.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very real thing. The fear is a very real thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. So there's living a life sold out for the Lord means that we have to choose daily to make the choice to die every single day in order to live.
Wait, say that again?
We have to make a choice to die every single day to live. We're literally dying thousands of times in our life. We're just killing that fear, that self-preservation. And I'm not talking about, jumping off a cliff or something. Let's not do anything stupid like that. But it's getting through our self-preservation and realizing that when we allow ourselves to be held back by the fear, it is holding somebody else back somewhere, because we are holding back what the Lord wants to produce through us. We're not allowing him to produce the fruit that's going to affect somebody else's life.
Right. Right.
So in and of ourselves.
Wait, say that last part again. I want to make sure you guys are hearing what Prudence is releasing here.
So when we hold on to our fears and don't want to let them go, we don't want to look at them, we don't want to believe that there's healing, we want to keep them, we're actually being very selfish.
Right.
Because we're stalling out and holding up what the Lord wants to do through us.
Wow.
Through the fruit that he wants to produce through us, that fruit is supposed to be shared with the world, with other people, and help others with their breakthroughs, with their lives.
Yeah.
When we can't move past our own junk, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the significance of what you're releasing, I need to make sure you guys hear this. So sometimes it feels like of no consequence for us to not face the fears. And what Prudence is saying is, no, if we're all made for a purpose, on purpose, and that purpose fits in with the way God's designed the world, then if we don't step into that assignment, we are now withholding our gift, our part, our contribution, our highest and best contribution to the world. We're withholding that from the people that we care most about. We're actually hurting them, even though we don't know it. So let's just pretend like the whole world's a car and you were made to be a wheel, but you're afraid of the road. So you don't allow yourself to be rolling. You won't roll. You now have made the car inoperable. It's not going to work with 3 wheels. It needs 4 wheels. You're a wheel. You're afraid of the pavement because of that fear. You're withholding why you were made. You were made to roll. You were made to go. You were made to help carry the car, but you're not doing it. So it's not just you that's affected. So
the fear in and of itself isn't the problem. Because we all dealing with fears that we're tempted. It's the choice. It's are we moving forward through it? Or are we allowing it to stall us back? Because when we succumb to the fear that we're supposed to be moving out of, we're in disobedience, really. We are. We are being disobedient to what the Lord has asked us to do.
100%.
So
keep going. Preach.
Hey,
let's go.
None of that. Anyway, so
well, Prudence, as we wrap this up, we got just a couple minutes left. Here's the time right here. We got just a few minutes left. Yeah. So in that last minute or two, I think when you do a episode like this, if you're still listening, thank you for that, by the way, because a lot of times people start hearing these and they're like, you know what, I'm out. Let's go to some funny cat videos on YouTube. If you're still with us, first of all, thank you, because you're actually investing in yourself. Secondly, a lot of times people will hear something like this, and those lies, which we already talked about, some of them will immediately start coming in. Oh, great for your grandkids, but it's too late for you. Great for whatever, but you're disqualified because you made too many mistakes, or you blew it too many times, or you've ruined your reputation. Okay, first of all, you're hearing that. That's just Satan's standard trumpet call. That's a lie. Until you're 6 feet under and daisies are growing out, like, you still have an opportunity. Some of the most incredible, most impactful superheroes from scripture didn't get their ministry started until they were very old by today's standards. So there's no, do not let the enemy tell you that lie. But what I want to make sure that you're hearing in this last couple minutes is there may be, likely is, and you're in good company because most people face this, some things you're going to need to rethink through that you haven't been doing in your life because you were allowing the enemy to whisper in your ear that you shouldn't do it. It's too risky, It's too risky. What do you think about that, Prudence?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm all about solutions when we come into a problem. So I think that really we just need to be analyzing what have I been allowing fear to hold me back in rather than walking through it?
Yeah.
And how do I get help to do that?
Yeah.
Because it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
It is horribly difficult.
Very difficult.
So we actually have a ministry called Glory Light Ministries here at Eagle Mountain, and you can find that
EagleMountain.global. No,
Okay,
you go to EagleMountain.global and click on the button that has resources and stuff, and you'll find Glory Light right there. So it's a full deliverance ministry.
Yeah, and of course, do not let the word deliverance
freak you out. Yes.
This is for us as the body of Christ.
Yeah, 100%.
And these organization within our organization can actually help you get started in cleaning house on all of it.
Yeah.
And helping you figure out and train you on how to stand steady after getting rid of it.
Yep.
Okay. So go there, check that out. And let's see, what can we end with? All right. Woodrow Kroll. With the power of God within us, we need never fear the powers around us.
Oof, that's good. Read it one more time.
With the power of God within us, we need never fear the powers around us.
That is really good. With the power of God within us, so that's you, we need never fear the powers around us. The Bible tells us we're going to be facing, the forces of evil. So we should not be surprised by this. So, with that in mind, we are out of time.
Yep.
But I would just encourage you that as you're thinking about this and as you're processing this and you're thinking about this, man, do I have any fears that are controlling me? As the Holy Spirit reveals those to you, do not let shame creep in and say, man, I can't believe I'm afraid of that. Just break it off. Just break it off. And
like I said, if you're not sure how to do this, because I think a lot of us are unsure how to solve this problem by ourselves.
Yes.
Go check out Glory Light Ministries.
Yes, at Eagle Mountain. So go to EagleMountain.global. There's several things I want you to do there. First of all, you need to check out the Glory Light Ministries that Prudence referenced. That resource is right there. You can also click on the TV button. You find this program, all of the episodes from the past 2 seasons right there, as well as a ton of other incredible programs from a whole bunch of brilliant people. We also have a 24/7 channel right there. So you can click on that. It's Eagle Mountain TV, and you just click on the TV button. The other thing that I really would love it if you do is if you would click on the button that says give and help support this. If you've been blessed by this, please invest in what we're doing by supporting this ministry. So you can click on the give button. You can support Eagle Mountain in that way. And that helps us produce this program as well as many others, and all the conferences, events, the Sunday services, everything that we do. That helps us be able to continue to produce this stuff for you guys. So love that. Like, subscribe. Think of 53 people to send this to, and send it to them right now. And is that it? We have anything else we need to do?
That's it for now. That's it for now.
That's it for now. We'll see you guys on the next one. See you later. Bye.